Драги мои пријатели и пријателки, добро вечер, добре дојдовте во уште едно издание. Се надавам дека сте добро, дека немате пејџери, немате мотороли. Ајде накратко да ја продолжам емисијата, мојот монолог од вчера, иако нема да трае цело време, затоа што денеска во емисија ексклузивен гостин ќе ви се обрати Доналд Трамп. Имено, Трамп преживеа уште еден атентат, нели, знаете, на голф теренот, кога типот со калашников пукаше на него, и неколку дена после тоа, третиот атентат, обид, поставена експлозивна направа на местото каде што требал да се одржи митингот. Доналд Трамп, види, Америка е голема, председателите бираат, не можат сегде во сите градови, во сите држави да направат митинзи. Мангава е многу опасен. Многу е гаден, многу е зезнат, у смисла, позитивна смисла гаден и зезнат, затоа што е храбар, затоа што е инат и затоа што е непоколеблив. Drain the Swamp е голема работа и голема борба. Тоа е да се фатиш со големо чудовиште за врат и да го давиш. Никој до сега не му успел да го собори Сорос и мислам дека ова ќе биде. Иако, да не се лажеме, Сорос е само дел од машата на една структура инфилтрирана внатре во структурата на Соединетите Американски држави. И тоа е она што го мразите. Вие ја мразите цела Америка и сите американци, затоа што сте глупи, неписмени, а да сте попаметни, ќе видите дека таму се одвива сериозна борба, Америка да се врати на она златно доба, кога ни беше пример на нас сите за демократија, за слобода. Зошто сите будали бевме да идеме за Америка или да сонуваме за Америка. за златното доба на Америка, кога императив беше слободата и демократијата, американскиот сон да се успее, сега од тоа се прави една прчија европска. Додуше истата структура што го прави, што се обидува да го направи во Америка, го направи со Германија, со Франција, постави луѓе кои тотално ги изневеруваат собствените национални, идентитетски, културолошки и пред се економски интереси на собствените земји. Затоа се у булшит. Ги тераат у војна, ги тераат да се откажат од нуклеарна енергија, да измишљаат дрн јариња и како врв на све, нели, ја удри индустријата да се промени кон електрични автомобили. Сериозно ги мобинг им правеа. Сега што се случува? Само таа ретардација да ви ја објаснам, не ми се верува. Ја у живот сум се изнагледал будали. Прво од Сабајле гледам будала, една деген. Леле, каков кретен, секој Сабајле го сретнувам. Викам, еднаш да ме утнеше, да не ти видам тоа суретот. Сабајле стално ме начекој у купатело таму кај огледалото. И нема врска, али оваа глупост не сте ја видели. Знаете колку притисок се изврши врз автомобилската индустрија да го смени производството, да произведува електрични автомобили? Добро. Пред некој ден протест на овие environmentalists, значи оние групички на дебилички, обично се NGO на сораспиеве. Нема, само они ги контролираат, и медиуми и све. Отишле у салонот на Тесла и Тесла Cybertruckот го прскаа со боја и извадија зачувајте ја планетата, емисиите на CO2. А овие продавачи вака ги гледа, не ти се веруе. Не ти се веруе. Колку може да си глуп? Ја разбирам, дури, иако не ги оправдав, напротив, ги осудив. Влегоа у салон, преклани, пред 2 години, у салонот на BMW и се залепија за BMW-ата. Бидејќи, стварно, BMW ново кога загадува него 13 шлепери. Остај тоа него после 6 месеци, тоа ти е авион на дизел. Остај тоа него после 6 месеци, тоа ти е авион на дизел. Знаеш BMW што е? Тоа не е правено за да биде економично, ергономично или еколошко. Тоа е правено за луѓе искомплексирани да си ги, нели, бидејќи нема интелект, нема машкост, преку тоа, нели, како овие пиштоли што купуваат, овие BMW купуваат. Сори, што се навредивте, извини. Ја BMW-та го сакам, не, истото го вика и оне што купува пушка и пиштол, нели. А обично Фройд кажал што е тоа, компензација. Не се. Само да ви кажам, најголемите фраери и љубовџии што ги знам јас скопски, а јако што ги знам никој, не затоа што ме клецале мене, затоа што сме се дружели. Ниеден од нив не возел Мерцедес S-класа, Ауди A6, да речам, или BMW седмица или нешто слично. Сите биле со пеглица, со југо, па дури не југо беше. Имав еден другар, ја не знам, на Бож брат му, се утепа, ја не знам како, имаат некои мажи, имаат магија да привлечат жени, вака, за 2 сати веќе ме молеше, му го дава фичото мое, да иде со фичо за да заврши работа. И нормално, ми го врати со искршени седишта. Нема врска. Какво љутење, тоа е машка солидарност. Сакам да кажам, влегуваш у салон за автомобили да протестираш против загадување CO2, нели, да не се испуштале емисии на гасови во атмосферата, а токму заради тоа се во салон за електрични автомобили, а токму за тоа се ги притискаа истите NGO. Пазите какво силување прават. Значи, те натеруваат да почнеш производство на електрични автомобили и ти праќаат после енвиронменталисти, NGO, исти нивни, да прскаат со боја. Дури намерно го прават толку да го испорадизираат, прво да знаеш што е пораката? Не е пораката, бидејќи сите им се смеат. Но пази што им е пораката. Ние сме толку радикална секта, таа со расписка секта, како кај нас што ги гледате, толку сме способни да ги радикализираме, да ги натераме да влезат у шизофренија, да ништо разумно не успеат да перцепираат и да прават таква сулуда работа, каква што ние им наредуваме. Пази, тие ги воспитувале со години, им перат мозок. Значи, се што е автомобил, се што произведува автомобил, ке го напаѓате, нема да размислиш дека е тоа добро за германската економија и за работниците, дека татко ти зема плата. Не е битно. Битно планетата ти ќе ја спаси со тоа и тоа. И на крај, значи, и нормално ти сваќаш дека, нели, се бориме против оние коли кои имаат мотори со внатрешно согорување и нормално поддржуваш електрични автомобили кои не испуштаат нели гасови штетни за планетата Земја. Арно, ама истиот тој после го праќаш за електрични автомобили. Пази, неспособен е, дебилот ретардира, неспособен е во главата да сам автентично размислува. Кој тоа го може? Само фанатик, религиозен фанатик. Тоа е секта. Само у секта не можеш ти логично да размислуваш, туку слепо следиш било каква глупост. Знаеш што? Ние во православието имаме слепо послушание. Ама ни еден свештеник, значи мојот духовен отец ми поставувал некои задачи кои онака сум му рекол, ти не знаеш колку ми е спротивно од се ова што го бараш од мене, ама нека биде волјата твоја. Не на отецот, затоа што што и да ми каже мене, духовникот ми е исто како Господ да ми каже. Ама никогаш штетно по околината, штетно по мене, штетно по земјата, штетно по државата, штетно по семејството, но штетно само по моето его. Мене ми треба многу години да сватам дека он само ми го шамара егото. Например, не знам, ја, отец, држам пост и славям само на Цезар салата. Одлично, ја не? Од утре нема да јадеш Цезар салата. Ама молим те! Уопште не е битно. Никогаш немало такво нешто, ова е прерадикално. Камо да сте у тоа влезени да видите што е слобода. Да видите што е слобода. Не се. Вчера експлодира еден куп. Илјадници мотороли, пејджери, воки-токија, па и релеи. Но последните информации, ноќеска онака бев прилично, мемињата ги следев и нели кај што има хумор, па ќе се протне некој линк со некоја вест. Собрав неколку работи од BBC, мислам, Македонец еден. Не, тоа мислам дека у свет нема. Ја објавувам веста, без линк, без ништо, дека експлодирале илјадници ова, ваму таму и така натаму овие пејджери и се. И ми коментира и ми вика, од кај ти е веста, бе? И ми вика, абе простоќо една македонска, бе, ретардиран дебил, да ми е мозокот твој барем на еден ден да одморам малку. Кај живееш, бе, вика. Веста ми е од CNN, BBC, DDT, Fox, Russia Today, Жимин Жибао, New York Times, Guardian. И се, ова е све портали. Ја му вика, не гледам телевизија, само гледам Јади Бурек. Викам, да гледаше Јади Бурек, викам, ја 2 сата зборев за ова. И се, пази се, кај се фаќа и се продужuje да прави будала. Јавно го пише ова. И му вика, ја гледав твојата емисија со Данило Коцевски, многу убава. Демек да ми покаже дека ја гледа емисијата. Викам, супер, 2013 е таа емисија. Мислам, тоа е, дали ме сваќате дека неписменоста не е тоа да не знаеш да читаш. да немаш представа што ти се дешава, што се случило у светот. Може од преокупираност да, например, мојата сопруга е преокупирана со работа и до неа во сектор на култура и до неа не допре овие работи, затоа што не отвара, нема време, сосема друга дистанца и констанца, инстанца е незината работа. Но не доаѓа да коментира, од каде ти бе те ова, она. Значи, кој ќе информирам, она е информирана. Али барем не прави будала од себе да иде, што збориш бе ти? Не разбирате? Затоа жена ми, сопругата ми е писмен човек. Тој е пример за писмен човек. Нешто што не знаеш, ќути си, информирај си или прашај. Од кај ти бе тебе информација? Абе, никој у светот. Не се. Не, морам да се исмевам затоа што, знаеш што, ја ситно бројам и сакам да се завршам пувките да се тргнат, дека, види, македонскиот народ е златен. Да, златен, ама поголемиот дел од македонскиот народ е неписмен. Затоа изманипулиран, затоа изгуби идентитет, затоа изгуби име. Да беше писмен, многу потешко ќе го манипулираш писмен народ. Сори, успеа да не изманипулираат и мене, и вас, и сите. Зошто? Ти сме неписмени. Неписменоста значи незнаење, користење мобилен телефон, плаќање сметки, отварање. Например, дали ние успеавме да испратиме, например, милион мейлови до сите релевантни фактори политички кога ни го менуваа името? Не. Еве да ви кажам, дека секој подпросечен македонец може да напише писмо, дури и на македонски, не мора ни на англиски, затоа што кој ќе го прими во Њујорк, во Лондон, во Париз, во Берлин, во Motherfucker, во Брисел, било каде, ќе го преведе. По дефолт, секое писмо они го прегледуваат. Например, пробај прати у амбасада писмо со закана, да видиш за 2 сати на врата кој ќе ти за добро вечер, лична карта. Ај сега со нас малци умарица. Сакам да ви кажам, можевме, еве ништо да не направивме. Без, нели, викаа протести, абе проста маса, протестот е за да излезат да те видат кој си. Вака, седни, милион души, денеска современ дигитален протест, милион има кои знаат да пишуваат, кои можат да отворат акаунт, кои можат да отворат имейл и да сите мейлови до американската амбасадорка, германската амбасадорка, до фон дер Лајнен, до председателот Бајден, значи само вака собираш 100 адреси, без проблем ќе ги најдеш. Јавни се сите и ќе напишеш. Јас, Јанко Илковски, живеам во Република Македонија. Мојата држава е принудена и под притисок да го смени името и идентитетот. Јас сметам дека е тоа погубно, јас сметам дека тоа и барам, и инсистирам, и протестирам против таквата постапка која вие ја поддржувате и барам да излезете и да застанете зад начелата на Обединетите нации и правото за самоопределување. Еве сега измислив текст. Па немаше 100 такви. Сите сте за слобода и демократија? Да. Што? Да се јавите анонимно у Јади Бурек сте ми потребни. Дали имате акаунт на X на бивши Твитер? Не. Имате сите на Фейсбук. А зборите, нели, Цукерберг ваков, таков. Имате компјутер, така? Бил Гейтс ваков, таков. Па кај нив работите, за нив работите. И се единствениот човек кој им се спротистави на сите нив, вие немате барем акаунт да има, ништо не прави. Зафати го местото, просторот на Твитер, затоа што таму у моментов е борбата за демократија. Тоа го свати и Марк Цукерберг, кој сега се извини за пропагандата за вакцини, тоа што ги банираше или ги бришеше акаунтите и постовите за против вакцини, против војната, за било која страна, дали сте фатили Украина или Русија и така натаму. Вика, тоа е грешка и тоа не треба. А зошто тоа го прави? Затоа што свати дека Елон Маск ја збори вистината и кога сватија луѓе каде е вистината, каде е борбата, отидоа таму. Доналд Трамп го свати тоа и му рече: те молам, биди у мојот тим кога ќе победам и станам председател. Тоа е голема работа, бе. Тоа не е локална самоуправа овдека, некој пришипленко на некоја општина у Свирипичино. Перо, ајде ти кај ме, Перо го земам, ја го увести, добро вечер. Денес градоначалник на Свирипичино го зема Перо, тоа е голема работа. Имаме изјава од Брисел. Ван дер Лајнен ја поздрави од Лука. Кај сте? Кај сте, бе, дечки? Сори. Де сте, бре, мишеви, бе, де сте, бре, нема. Океј, до кај сум? Време е. Апдейтот да ви го кажам. Земале Мосад пред неколку години, значи одамна го планираат ова, отвориле фирма и компанија во Будимпешта за електроника. Например, Јанко Троник се вика. Јанко свиња дебела Троникс. Што бе? Јанко продава ефтини пиџери. И тоа пиџери исфрлени од употреба. Значи, пиџери кои јапонците ги купиле од Јапонија, не се ни од Америка. Американците ција се, цареви. Ништо не можеш да најдеш трага дека ја води у Америка или Британија. Јапонците ги купиле, не ги употребуваат и така натаму. Сега да не ви ги кажам сите детали. Овие им викаат: шо правите со тоа пиџерите? Шо знам, колку ги даваш? $1. Еве ти по пола, ај 75, ги купуваат. У нив ставаат експлозив. Неверојатно, тоа е C4. Дали е со очрафување, дали е со шприц, не ми е јасно како и што. Но во секој случај, пеџерот и експлозивот биле поврзани, значи не е фреквенција некоја, теориите на заговор, дека со некоја фреквенција ги гаѓале, дали микробранова, како што и јас се сомневам, дека натаму и експлодирала батеријата. Не, имало експлозив. Имало експлозив. Генијалноста на ова, колку да, јас се извинувам, не сакам затоа што луѓе пострадале, луѓе изгинале. Не можам да се одушевувам на ова, но ова е без преседан во современото војување. Значи, како успеале само да им ги продадат токму на членови на Хамас, бидејќи невини деца, немало со пеџер или воки-токи, сите биле членови на Хамас, кои ги имале овие уреди, кои ги купувале. Како успеале само да ги навлечат Хамас од Будимпешта да ги купи овие? Значи, кавер, дип кавер, неверојатно, пази, и Хамас не биле глупи, кога иделе проверуеле. Чива е фирмава? На Јанко. Кој е Јанко? Отвори на YouTube. Пу, бре, свиња, да. Ајде, купи тамо. Ефтино ги да, ефтино. Добро, нема гајде. Арно, ама 1000 која ќе ги купиш, а може би 2000 купиле, може би 3000 купиле. Овие неверојатно продавали и други, на леви, на десни, на овамо и тамо и така. Но овие со експлозив токму на нив им ги продале и они експлодираат само во Ливан. И денеска имаше експлозии. Покрај експлозиите имаше ракети. Јас синоќа би ја покажа пенетрирачка ракета која не експлодира, која се збрцува, иде доле, па доле ќе експлодира и едноставно може, како да ви кажам, еве, замислете, гаѓаат зграда у Капиштец, ја погодува зградата од озгора, се пробива доле до подрум, у подрумот длабоко експлодира дури тогаш, значи како игла, и исфрла нагоре и ја руши само зградата. Се околината е заштитено. Например, не знам, терористичка организација земала цела зграда во Капиштец. Сега Капиштец е зграда до зграда. Да прднеш ке засмрди цела населба. Pardon my French. Значи, до толку веќе е отидено прецизното војување. Но, мислам дека е у овој момент Хамас е толку рашрафен, ќе му треба многу време да се врати назад. Он ќе врати, ќе има сега самоубилачки настапи и така натаму и така натаму. Повеќе има повредени на Хамас, одошто народ е уплашен, во Берут вика страфнije, вика телевизор да пуштиме, не па нешто друго. Не знае што е rigged. Rigged значи нешто му е подметнато. Може би е во транзистор, може би е во ова, може би е во она. Не знае што све фирмава, каде продава. И други фирми дали има. И ова е сега голем страх, но ова е веќе откривање, бидејќи е без преседан во војувањето, откривање дека и Хамас пречекориле. Има една друга работа тука во борбава, тука на страна која ќе видите, дека Сорос и структурите на мочуриштето упорно и долго време се борат да ја сменат власта во Израел. И допред година дена имаше така како шарени револуции по улица, протести, уште има такви, затоа што нив не им одговара јак националист патриот на власти и они се обидуваат да стават некој како Трудо, како Макрон во Израел. И најверојатно да ја контролираат државата или што е после или да ја воведат во отворена војна со Иран. Не знам, тука се глобални големи игри, големи планови, ја ги следам секој дневно, ги коментирам, не сум длабок аналитичар, но очигледното само треба да се спојува. Значи се трудам да се описменам, да не бидам ќе бидам луд, ама да не бидам глуп, да не разберам што се случува, бидејќи се случуваат сериозно зезнати работи. 3 атентата имаме врз бивш кандидат за председател, бивш председател и кандидат за иден председател. 3 обиди за атентат. 2 пати пукано и бомба подметната. И гледајте каква е контролата на медиумите. Никој збор. Па и нашиве овие. О, нашиве. Вие што ги гледате вестите. Тоа е. Знаеш како се контролира? Гледаш вести? Да. Нивни си. Ама јас се спротивставам. Нивни си. Ама не, Јанко, ба ја тоа да се информирам, ово е... Не писмен се. Бидејќи вестите се правени за рибање мозок. Ке ти каже вест во која ќе поверуваш дека е тоа така и мислиш дека само сувопарна информација имаш. Не ти дозволува. Тие што читаат вести е направено да ти влезе у мозок и да ти го стави своето. Пенетрација, сексуално, силување на мождани виуги. Не донесува свој заклучок. Како е различното измеѓу мене? 10 извора читам. Ја уживам во тоа, мене ми е убаво. Ја книги кога читам, не читам една книга. Читам една книга, 3, 4, 5 страни, ќе ми досади, ја оставам, земам друга книга. Тоа е еден трик од еден мој пријател интелектуалец кој ми ја покажа. Он 6-7 книги чита. По цел ден сака да седи и да чита 4-5 сати на ден, ама не може една книга. Губи заради јазикот, заради изразот, губи фокус и концентрација. И пробајте исто ако сте љубител, не можам да ја дочитам. Земи друга да ја читаш. Па таа ако ќе оставиш, врати се на првата или иди на трета. Мозокот е орган кој не се умара. Бидејќи кога ќе се умориш, ти се уморува телото, мозокот, сонуваш, работи. Твое е да го насочуваш. Кречаната у старост се фаќа затоа што не го користиме, оти гледате вести, оти друг ти каже како треба. Ја ви викам, вие да дојдете до заклучок, подобро погрешен заклучок, одошто туѓ заклучок. Ја ви ги кажам моите заклучоци. Нешто од некого земам, ама од никого не земам све здраво за готово. Бидејќи мене па ме просветли православието, христијанството и Библијата, Евангелијата. Исус Христос една вистина. Ама 4 евангелија се. 4 сведоштва за една година во животот на Господ Исус Христос, во неговата 33 година. За една година што правил, што зборил, каде одел, како пострадал. 4 видувања, сите различни, а сите исти. Затоа што Господ знае, ја не верувам дека сме имале ние таква продуховеност да знаеме дека за да ја сватиш вистината, потребни ти се аспекти на личниот перцепција. И само една перцепција е секогаш подложна на дебата, негирање, дали вака, дали онака, фаќање за зборово, она. Ги слушнав една друга, да речам, вера, се фатија, кога ја сечал смоквата, па расправијата беше не дала плод, ама тоа било мај месец. Па се расправаа, кажуваа дека смоквата прво дава плод, па после листови, ово, она, ваму там. Абе, што се фаќаш за форма? Он ти збори за суштина. Дрво што не дава плод, се сече. Во суштина, ако не се предуховиш, не го прифатиш Бога, се сушиш како човек. Ке исчезнеш, ке те снема. Те нема во вечноста. Овде ке поживееш, окей. После кај си. Него проблем е што, знаеш, кога ќе отидам и јас само и ќе ми рече, извини, кај е другар ти? Па не знам ово она. Се помоли ли ти за негово спасение? И шева ќе ми, Јанко се помоли, 360 молитви се заложи за него, ово она, тамо. Затоа монахот повеќе прави, одошто било кој активиста. Монахот, свештеникот, верните, што идат редовно на литургија, повеќе прават за светот и планетата, оти се молат за сите. Да ви кажам дека се молиме за сите што се у затвор? Да ви кажам дека се молиме за сите што се во болни? Да ви кажам дека се молиме за сите што страдаат? За оние што учат? За оние што се занимаваат со политика? За сите? Не смееме да мразиме, бе, не смееш да помислиш, бе, брат, срам да те фати. Не, никој не те тепа со камшек, ама кога ќе ти се отвори чакрата, ти стане јасно, дечко, извини, ти мразиш некого? Затоа вечерва, повторно, заради самракот на боговите, земски, кои контролираат медиуми, кои контролираат Европскиот парламент, кои го прават мочуриштето, кои иницираат војни, говорот, настапот на Доналд Трамп во Њујорк, во срцето на државата, на демократската држава. Значи, председателите они бираат кај ќе идат. И најчесто си идат во оние држави кај што имаат најмногу поддршка, кај што имаат најмногу, шанси да поминат добро, медиумски, но да идеш, например, не знам, македонец, не знам, тешко иде у албанско село, како и албанец у македонско село, гласајте за мене. Многу тешко ќе видиш. Ова е на такво ниво. Идењето на Доналд Трамп. Значаен е говорот. Нема нешто битно или скандалозно, но во суштина суптилностите кажани меѓу редови се многу важни. Важни се, поважни се нормално за Америка, но важни се и за целиот свет. Знам што можам да очекувам од овој човек. Не да ми ги реши моите проблеми. Туку малце 20 кила од Джаков од 180 кила што го мкнам, 20 кила да ми ги симне, малку да можам подобро да функционирам. Затоа, драги мои, ви подготвивме говорот и настапот на Доналд Трамп во Њујорк вчера или завчера. Како? Вчера. Вчерашниот настап и нормално нема да го видите на ниеден друг медиум, секако дека можете да го видите на YouTube, ние се потрудивме, ви го транслейтиравме, што би рекле нашине, од Австралија. Фрливме $2 for streeto, for church, and for TV-то, and for translationот. Океј, благодарам за вашето внимание, бидете ми добри, убави, паметно и татко ми викаше узбрдо брзи.
Wow. Wow. This is a big crowd. This is a big crowd. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, everybody, and a very big hello to New York and a place called Long Island, which I know very well. And I'm thrilled to be back in the state I love with thousands of proud, patriotic New Yorkers who are really the heart and soul of America. We know that. And the reason I'm here is because it hasn't been done in many decades. It hasn't been done for a long time, but we are going to win New York. And that's the first time in many, many years that a Republican can honestly say it, and we're going to do it. We have to do it. We do it, and the election nationwide is over. We take over the White House, and we fix up our country, okay? We fix up our country. So as you know, 3 days ago, there was yet another assassination attempt on my life. I didn't know I was going to say that. It was the second one in 8 weeks by a violent radical left mobster. This evil would-be assassin got within a few hundred yards of where I stood, but thankfully, our outstanding Secret Service agent, and they are outstanding, spotted the barrel of his rifle in the bushes. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? He saw a barrel of a this was a big barrel. This you don't want to even talk about, AK-47. But he saw the barrel coming out a little bit out of the very lush bushes, and he took fast action to stop the gunman before I even entered the line of sight. And I want to express my thanks to the U.S. Secret Service, who was there that day, and to all of the sheriffs and law enforcement down in Florida, the heroes who helped to apprehend the attacker. And by the way, you possibly heard the story. So the secret agent, service agent, pulled out the gun and started shooting. He said, a barrel. He didn't talk like a lot of people. They talk. How are you, sir? What would you like to talk about? Would you like to talk about the weather? No, he pulled out the gun and he started shooting at him. And the villain, no, but think of this. This could only happen with a woman because men aren't smart enough, I hate to tell you fellas. So he dropped his gun, his car was a block away, and he started running because they had him. And he was running, and a woman driving a car innocently said, he looks like a bad person to me. He looks very suspicious. And she followed him and pulled up to the back of the car and started taking pictures of his license plate. Can you believe that? And she took the pictures of his license plate, perfect, beautiful pictures like a professional photographer, and sent them to the sheriff and said, I just looked at a man, there was something strange going on. Who the hell would do that, right? Only a woman, only a woman. Right. Then I asked the sheriff today, I said, so Sheriff, if you had 1,000 events how many people would have done that? Man or woman, how many people would have done that, followed him, taken pictures of the license plate and also the type of truck that he was driving? He said, maybe none. So she's a hero. I got to meet her. And because of that, they were then able to catch him in a very speedy drive down the various highways in Florida, but they got him, and they got him fast. But I think it's incredible. So the agent and that wonderful woman, and with all of my heart, I thank you all for your incredible valor. What you've done is incredible. What the people of our country and law enforcement does in this country is incredible. Tonight, let me also deliver a message straight to Kamala Harris. Have you heard of her? Who, by the way, was just rated by far the most liberal senator in the U.S. Senate, more so even further left than Bernie Sanders and Pocahontas. Pocahontas. She's more so. Elizabeth Warren, she's more left than Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren. Let me also deliver a message straight to Kamala Harris, the radical left Democrat politicians, and the fake news media. Look how many are there. We've got to get our media back in this country. We've got to get them back. But the message is it's time to stop the lies, stop the hoaxes, stop the smears, stop the lawfare or the fake lawsuits against me, and stop claiming your opponents will turn America into a dictatorship. Give me a break. Because the fact is that I'm not a threat to democracy, they are. They're doing things in politics that have never been done before in the history of our country. And worst of all, with their open borders and bad elections, they have made us into a third world nation, something which nobody thought was even possible. Americans deserve a campaign based on the issues. We try and keep it on the issues. And God has now spared my life. It must have been. God, thank you. Not once, but twice. And there are those that say he did it because Trump is going to turn this state around. He's going to turn this country around. He's going to make America great again. And maybe. And we're going to bring back religion into our country. Bring it back. These encounters with death have not broken my will. They have really given me a much bigger and stronger mission. They've only hardened my resolve to use my time on earth to make America great again for all Americans, to put America first. Gonna put America first. Earlier today, I was honored to receive the endorsement of the rank-and-file membership of the Teamsters. I love the Teamsters. They delivered all that concrete for those buildings I built in New York. They delivered the big, heavy, most beautiful trucks you've ever seen. They delivered the concrete in all those buildings I built in New York. But, you know, this hasn't happened in so many decades. We won the overwhelming majority of the local chapters and the members, and as a result, the national organization has refused to endorse the Democrat candidate for the first time in many, many decades. And I also want to thank Teamsters President Sean O'Brien, amazing man, and all of the incredible rank-and-file Teamsters across the country, because this was a surprise. It's automatic. They endorse the Democrats, automatic for many, many decades. But you know what? They said, they looked at her, they said, we're not going there, I'm sorry. These are tough people. And together we will secure our borders, we will protect our workers, we will defend our jobs, we will rebuild our country with American skill and American pride and American labor. Right? And just as a little side note, we should give them a round, especially because of what they and how they voted today. If they voted the other way, I wouldn't give them a round. But the Teamsters built out this beautiful stadium for tonight's event. Thank you, Teamsters. Thank you. They did a great job. To every hardworking American, whether you live in a red state, a swing state, or a state with a failed Democrat rule, this year we need to elect all Republicans up and down the ballot. We have to clean out and straighten out our country. With your vote, we are going to rescue our country. We are going to rescue our Democrat-run states. We are going to start by saving the great state of New York. Is that good? When I told some people in Washington, yeah, I'm going up to New York, we're doing a campaign speech, they said, what do you mean New York? You can't ever, nobody can win, Republicans can't win. I said, I can win New York and we can win New York. We're going to win New York. And if you vote for me, I'm going to reduce your taxes, reduce your crime, and reduce your levels of stress, because you have a lot of stress. The only thing that I will increase are your incomes, and your love for your state will come roaring back again. Throughout American history, from generation to generation, New York has always set the standard for American life, and they have. It's been a high standard, too. Our cities were the center of business, arts, culture, our streets, ports, waterways, and they were the arteries of American commerce. They were absolute arteries. And our towns like Uniondale, Levittown, Hicksville, Huntington, these were great, great towns where you grew up and you loved and you stayed. But look at what has happened to New York and the other states, all run by radical left Democrats, every single one of them. Our heavy industries have exported overseas, and our middle class has been eviscerated, right here at home, been eviscerated. Housing costs are out of control. Inflation has cost a typical family $28,000. Think of it, in less than 4 years, $28,000. And we filthy encampments. We have horrible, disgusting, dangerous, filthy encampments of junkies and homeless people living in places that our children used to play Little League baseball, which they don't get to play very much anymore, do they? Over the past 3 years in New York City, there has been a 29% increase in robbery, a 36% increase in felony assault, a 42% increase in grand larceny, a 75% increase in carjackings. Did you buy a nice car lately? Well, 200 police officers leave the NYPD, New York's finest. I always say, I knew it well. New York's finest. They leave every single month, 200 people a month. Incredible people. They're incredible people. The trains and subways are squalid and unsafe. The median of our highway, all those medians, they spend all that money, they're falling down, they're rotting. Businesses are fleeing. The mobs of illegal migrants are being put up in luxury hotels at your expense, while our great veterans live on the freezing or steaming sidewalks right outside the main entrance to where the migrants enter their hotel. Think of that. Think of it. We have veterans lying on the street, squalid, lying on the street, sometimes freezing, sometimes it's hot, it's summer. And they're looking at people just came into our country, and they're going up to the 17th floor of their suite. How crazy has our country become? And can you imagine what those veterans, when they watch this, must be saying? But listen to this. Can you also imagine what the migrants must be thinking? They're saying, can you believe this? We just came from a place, in many cases, they were in prisons, and now they're living in hotel suites while our veterans are living on the street. And so I say to the people of New York, with crime at record levels, with terrorists and criminals pouring in, and with inflation eating your hearts out, vote for Donald Trump. What the hell do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Think of it. What the hell do you have to lose? You know, some of you remember that was a phrase that I used for our black population years ago in 2016. I said, with the worst housing conditions, the worst education, the worst this, the worst that, the most crime. I went through 12 different things, and it wasn't in the sheets. And I'm saying, boy, that's really terrible. And I said, and I was at like 2%, not too good. And I said to the black population gathered in front of me, vote for Trump. What the hell do you have to lose? I said that, same thing. And you know what happened? I got eviscerated when I went backstage. But I'm not like Biden where he takes, so I fight back with my people. Remember, we still signed the check. They said, sir, that's a terrible thing to have said. I said, when you said, what the hell do you have to lose? It's terrible, it's demeaning, it's horrible. I said, but it's true. You know what happened? The next day, I picked up 10 points with the black population. And now, because of all we've done, we're at the highest level of black support in the history of the Republican Party. And by the way, the Hispanic support, do we have any Hispanics? The Hispanic support is off the charts, and they don't know what the hell to do about it. It's off the charts. And we just had some great polling come out. I think the most accurate poll over the last 8 or 9 years was Rasmussen. They just came out with a poll that we're 5 up. We're 5 up. 5 up. We should be 35 up, to be honest with you. But, some people can't break an old habit. That's really what it is. So I say to you, vote for Trump, and I will turn it around very quickly with 4 more years of Kamala Harris. New York State will be like a third world nation if it isn't already. It is. I think it is. With Trump, the Empire State will once again be the envy of the entire world. We will have no crime, only success. And unlike your current radical Democrat regime, I'm not driven by partisan ideology. I'm driven by results, and I'm driven by New York common sense. It's common sense, right? Right? It's common sense. I like to say the party, this is a great party. I like to say the party is really, we're conservative and all that, right? Who knows? You know what we are? We're really people with common sense. We need walls. We need good elections. We want low taxes. We want great police officers that are well taken care of. We don't want to defund the police. We're the party of common sense more than anything else, and it's picked up a lot of steam, it's true. My first week back in the Oval Office, I will clean up and call up your governor and mayors all across your state, and I will tell them it's time to work together. They're largely Democrats. It's time to work together for the good of the people. Going to do it. And despite all of the persecution I've endured from the corrupt judicial system in New York, it's a corrupt system. I love the people of this state, and I want to give back. I want to give back to you. I've had a great life. I want to give back to you. We're going to give it back to you. We're going to make this city and we're going to make this state incredible again. Together, we will rebuild our roads, bridges, highways, and airports. They're falling apart. They're falling down. We will renovate New York subway. Oh, that's beautiful. I used to go to school on the subway. Can you believe it? I mean, I like to say it's not so long ago, but it probably is. What do you think, Bruce? I guess it is. But my parents would drop me off at a subway, and I'd go to Union Turnpike, or I'd go to wherever They had no fear that I was going to be disappearing. They would take me to a subway, put me on and say, bye, darling, bye. If you do that today, you have about a 75% chance that you'll never see your child again. What the hell has happened here? What has happened? We will renovate the New York subway so that the greatest city in the world finally has, again, the greatest transit system anywhere in the world. You have the basics. We have to clean it. We have to take care of it. We have to give it a little love. And we have to get the criminals the hell out of there. We will once again support our incredible police officers, New York's finest. A lot of them. You know, I've got the support. To me, this is so important. I think to you, it's every single police group in the nation is supporting me. The other day, the Fraternal Order, it's the largest. They gave us 400,000 police, and they gave us a unanimous endorsement. We have it from everybody. We have it from everybody. We will work with the mayors and the governor to rebuild your defunded and depleted police forces, including New York's finest and NYPD. Look, I know so much about, I love New York's finest. I used to be in Brooklyn. I had an office with my father in Brooklyn. And we used to go in Brooklyn to a White Castle. Did anyone ever hear of a White Castle? And my father would say, no, that's the best place. Only 12 cents a hamburger. Remember? 12 cents. Bruce, we had Bruce. How good is Bruce? Bruce Blakeman, one of the greats. He won in an upset. You know, this is a Republican. He ran a couple of times. You couldn't beat this hoax of Democrats. He ended up winning. He's done such a good job. He's now unbeatable. They don't even run anybody against him. Great, great, really great. We got a lot of them. Joe Cairo's here. Joe, are we gonna win, Joe? What do you think? Joe Cairo. Don't mess with Joe, right, Joe? We love you, man. Your family's great, too. But I will stop the Kamala crime wave, and we will do everything we can. We're gonna get these violent criminals behind bars. We're gonna get them out of our country. We're gonna take them back to the country from which they came. A few months ago, I visited with the grieving family of a New York City police officer, Jonathan Diller. You know Jonathan Diller? I was hoping his family could be with us. He was just 31 years old, gunned down during a traffic stop by a vicious thug, leaving behind his incredible wife, Stephanie, and family, their one-year-old son. What a son. And it's, are you here? Are they here? They could be here. They here. They could be here. Is Stephanie here? Because, you know, It was a bond, and she was so great, and I think she's here. It's hard when you have 19,000 people. And Stephanie, unlike a lot of my friends, doesn't want adulation. Honestly, what she wants more than, she wants her husband back. That's what she wants. She doesn't want adulation. I have other friends, you'd find them. I have other friends, if you said their name, they'd be jumping up, here I am, here I am. Stephanie doesn't want that. What a great family, and what a great guy he was. The criminal charge was savagely murdering Officer Diller, was previously arrested by the NYPD 21 times, right? 21 times, Bruce. And the accomplice driving the car had been arrested 14 times, but he was actually much worse. He was more vicious. 14 times, but he was actually far more vicious. This is the kind of story we hear every single day under radical Democrat policies like cashless bail, cashless bail. You kill somebody, and you're out on the streets in 2 hours. Cashless bail has been a disaster for our country. Kamala Harris wanted it no matter where she went. She boasted about being the leader of the movement of cashless bail, just like she led the effort to defund the police. You know, she was the leader of the effort to defund the police, and now she's running for president. But a little while ago, like everything else, no fracking, no this, no, she changed her mind. Now she says she likes the police. She can't say love, but she says like. She's made a lot of progress, but you know the first thing that would happen is she will go to defunding the police, if that's even possible to think about. But when I get back into the Oval Office, the madness ends and the law and order is going to return to our country. A fully reformed Federal Department of Justice will deliver massive public safety funding for New York and other Democrat-run cities that are under siege. But in exchange, they will give our police back their protection and their respect. We are going to take care of our police, and we're going to respect our police. Everyone here does. I tell the officers all the time, you have no idea how the people love you, but sometimes they don't feel it because of what the Democrats do to them. They will end deadly sanctuary city policies, they will terminate cashless bail, and they will return to proven policing methods like we had under Mayor Rudy Giuliani that made New York City the safest big city in America. Simultaneously, we are going to make life in New York State affordable again. Little word, affordable. A vote for Kamala Harris is a vote for 4 more years of job losses. Look at what's happening. Businesses that are fleeing, money draining out of your state, and hundreds of thousands of illegal migrants sucking your public resources dry. You know, I've always heard for 20 years, I've heard that New York City has no money, and yet they're going to spend $3 billion on illegal migrants, and they're not getting it from the federal government. You wonder, they never had money, but they have $3 billion to take care of people that came into our country illegally. Doesn't make sense. But under the Trump economic plan, we will cut your energy prices in half within 12 months. Half! Because we have more liquid gold under our feet and we don't use it. We go to places like Venezuela when we have more than Russia. We have more than Saudi Arabia. You remember I got Anwar approved in Alaska. It's the biggest site anywhere in the world, probably bigger than Saudi Arabia, bigger than Russia. And what did they do? In the first week in office, Ronald Reagan tried so hard he couldn't get it. I got it. The biggest site in the world, Alaska. And in the first week in office, they terminated it. We'll have it back very quickly, I promise you that. We will rapidly defeat inflation. We're going to bring your prices down. All they're doing is they've cut it, but you're up 55 or 60%. People that used to live a nice life 4 years ago, they can't afford an apple. A woman, they showed a picture of a woman the other day. I said, boy, that's sad. That should never happen to her. She went to the counter, the cashier. She had 3 apples. And when she was standing with the cashier, she realized she didn't have enough money for one of the apples. And she took the apple, brought it back, and she bought 2 apples. That shouldn't be happening in our country. That shouldn't be happening in our country. We will cut interest rates, cut insurance costs, and insurance is horrible. And massively, we will cut your taxes again. I gave you the largest tax cut in the history of our country. And we have some to go. Kamala Harris, as you look at her plan, will give you, very simply, the largest tax hike in American history. She's going to lift your taxes. This is the only person I've ever seen, and Biden too. They announced that they're going to raise your taxes, and it's supposed to be good politically. I don't think so. I don't know. I've never seen that, Anthony, before, where they say they're going to raise your taxes. They're going to raise your taxes. Vote for me, I'm going to raise your taxes. Can you believe it? I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done that, because the news will say, vote for me, I'm going to raise it. They're going to say, they're going to attribute it to me. I can't do that. I told our great First Lady I will not be sarcastic anymore. When you joke or when you're sarcastic, the fake news will take a story like that. I'll say, I never said I was going to raise your taxes. Yes. Vote for me, I'll raise your tax. Kiddingly, kiddingly, kiddingly. These people are the worst. When I imitated Joe Biden because he couldn't get off a stage, so I'd imitate him because he couldn't find the stairs and look around. He finished the speech, the speech would last maybe 3 minutes, maybe a little less than that. And then you want to get off the stage, and it always go like this. But you remember, we're not running against him, we're running against somebody who's actually much worse. Ready? And he'd go like this. And then he'd walk in a different direction. It was the weirdest thing. And Secret Service did a great job. They'd come up in the stage and they'd pull him out. Like today, we have 4 or 5 stairs. You always have 4, 5, 6 stairs. The more it's government-owned, the more stairs you have. But you always have a lot. So I said to our great First Lady, who can draw a crowd? Did you watch me tonight on television, First Lady? People love our First Lady, I'll tell you. Go out and get a book. She just wrote a book. I hope she said good things about it. I don't know. I didn't. So busy. She just wrote a book called Melania. Go out and buy it. It's great. And if she says bad things about me, I'll call you all up and I'll say, don't buy it. Get rid of it. No, but she said to me, I said, baby, did you see the crowd? We had 18,000 people. We could have filled it up 3 or 4 times. Bruce Blakeman said to me, if we went to a stadium or a park, we would have had 100,000 people or more. So I'd call up my wife and I'd say, baby, who could draw crowds? Nobody can draw crowds like me. Nobody, not even close. I'm the greatest of all time, maybe greater even than Elvis, because Elvis had a guitar. I don't have a guitar. Elvis had a guitar. I don't have the privilege of a guitar. But I'd say, baby, who could do it like me? Nobody can do it like me. How great am I? And she'd say, and she'd say, I'd say, how great was the speech? Not how good, how great was it? And she'd say, it was good, but your hair looked terrible tonight. Or the worst ever. So I said, how good was it, First Lady? And she said, it was good, but you couldn't find your way off the stage. I was imitating Biden, and they said I did it. I couldn't find my way off the stage. No, so you can't be sarcastic. Sarcasm with the media doesn't work, okay? It doesn't. So I've given up about 90% of it. I got all my friends here. Anthony, stand up. Anthony Lomangino, one of the greats of all time. He said, I have a big business problem. What? I have too much cash. I don't know what to do with it. I said, I've heard of worse problems than that, Anthony, right? He's doing good. He's a great man, great businessman, and a great person. Kamala wants income tax hikes, small business tax hikes, capital gains tax hike. How about the capital gains? She wants a tax, unrealized capital gain. That means she wants to give you a capital gain, even if you have stock. She wants to give you a capital gain, even if you didn't sell it. You know, I know a lot of people, they're very rich, but they don't have cash. They're rich, but they don't have cash. A lot of them. You know, it's like that. Farmers are like that. They have great land, great everything. They make income, but they don't have cash. And you know what I did for farmers and small business in the tax hike? And nobody talks about this. I got rid of the estate tax, so that, or the death tax, as they would call it, so that when you die and you pass it on to your children who you love, if you don't love your children, then it's not going to do you any good. And there are those. Does anybody in this incredible arena, they did a nice job, by the way, fixing it. I remember the old one. Does anybody in this incredible arena not love their children? Who in the arena is rich and will not leave their money to their kids? Because if that's the case, then what they did for you doesn't mean anything. Do I have any hands? 20,000 people and I have no hands. Okay, who wants to leave their money to their kids? That's good. Well, you know, in the old days, you'd leave the money to the kids, and what would happen? The kids would have to go out and borrow money. They'd lose everything. They had to borrow money from a bank at a high rate of interest. Now they don't have to do that anymore. Now you can leave your farm, you can leave your small business to your kids, but Kamala wants to end that. She wants to end it. She wants to raise your tax to a level that nobody's ever heard of before, and it's crazy. We will go in to a I thought this was a wise guy coming up. This guy, I thought, I'm getting ready. I'm going like this. You know, I got a little bit of a yip problem here, right? That was amazing. I was all ready to start duking it out. I felt like my man in the front row here. Stand up, will you please? This is the toughest man. You know him? Do you all know? I'm going to introduce you later so you can sit. He's the toughest guy. If somebody walked on the stage, he wouldn't be afraid. He would already be attacking the poor guy. Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it? It's the first time that's ever happened, I think. Is he new to the game? I think so. By contrast, I will cut taxes for families, small businesses, and workers, including restoring the SALT deduction, saving thousands of dollars for residents of New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and other high-cost states. Going to restore SALT. Jobs and factories will pour back into New York. I know how to do it better than anybody's ever known how to do it, and we can do it so easily. Wages will soar, the cost of living will fall, and I will deliver the greatest economy in the history of the world to our country, and one of the greatest economies in the history of New York State. And a key part of restoring safety and saving our economy is stopping the invasion at the border of our country. It's crazy. Under border czar Kamala Harris, you know, she was the border czar until she started looking at this situation, until the coup. I say until the coup because it was a coup. But she was a border czar. Now she said, I was never the border czar. You know what? Give her that. But she was in charge of the border, and the border is the worst run border in the history of the world. There's never been a border like this. 21 million people, illegal aliens are coming in from all over the world, from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylums. Many tourists are coming in just to watch. Did you ever see this? You have tourists that line up to take pictures of it. They usually turn out to be the fake news, and the pictures are so bad they never show it. You know, the fake news never, ever talks about it, but we have massive numbers of terrorists coming in to our country. You have everybody coming in. We have people that can't speak the language. The great Tom Homan told me the other day, great guy, central casting guy, great guy. He told me the other day, last month, they figured it out for the last 12 months, 168 different countries came in, represented, and came into our country. Most people don't even know you have that many countries. You actually have over 200, but most people don't know. But I want to be known as one thing. In 2016, I probably won because of the border. I did a great job. I cleaned it up, and the border was good. And in 2020, even though I got millions and millions more votes, they said, sir, if you get the same number of votes as you did in 2016, 63 million, sir, you cannot lose. I got millions more, and I lost. But you know what? We're going to have the greatest win in history when we pull this one off. It's going to be legendary. But in 2020, my people would say, sir, it doesn't help for you to speak about the border. Nobody cares. I said, I want to speak about the border. I did a great job. Sir, nobody cares. It's true. I talk about the border. Nobody cared. But now they care. Because now the border is 25 times worse than it was in 2016. Now the border is not even believable what's happening. And I want to be known as your border president. I'm going to be known as your border president. And Kamala will be known as your invasion president. Just let them all come in. Let them all come in. Now, we got to save our country. Our country's going down. If you look at what's happening with the Venezuelans taking over, I mean, they're taking over large pieces of real estate in Colorado, and you have a Democrat governor who's petrified of them. He's afraid. I've never seen anything like it, and he doesn't want to talk about it. They've taken over your buildings and your land. You got to do something about it. That wouldn't happen with Bruce Blakeman, I can tell you right now. Bruce, would you let people come in from a foreign country like Venezuela, where, by the way, their crime rate is down 72% because they've taken their prisoners, they've taken their gangs, they've taken their drug dealers, and they've shipped them all to the United States, so their crime rate's down. But Bruce, would you ever tell the people that you're supposed to be protecting when they call? A lot of Venezuelans are in here and they have very big guns. Would you say, listen, I don't really want to do anything about it? Would you do that? Or would you say, don't worry, we'll have a force of people over there within minutes and it would all be over, right? Right? I think so. No, he wouldn't play games. He wouldn't play games. But you know, these people, the law enforcement, they're afraid in these places because it's so violent. They've never seen people like this. These are violent people that they're allowing into our country. It is truly an invasion, and we're not going to let it happen. We're going to take those violent people and we're going to ship them back to their country, and if they come back in, they're going to pay a hell of a price. Thank you. We have no choice. We have no choice. It's not like, you know, this is not sustainable by any country. This is not sustainable. How about in Springfield, Ohio? They had 32,000. This is a little beautiful town. No crime, no problem. 32,000 illegal immigrants come into the town, 32. So they almost doubled their population in a period of a few weeks. Can you believe it? And you know what? They've got to get much tougher. I'm going to go there in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to Springfield and I'm going to Aurora. You may never see me again, but that's okay. Got to do what I got to do. Whatever happened to Trump? Well, he never got out of Springfield. I'm leading in Ohio by like 15 points, a lot. And we're going to take care of Ohio, and we're going to take care of Colorado, and we're going to take care of every single state in the union. They're all under siege. A lot of people don't talk about. But think of this. So the mayor of Springfield, and I think he's a very nice person, but instead of saying we're getting them all out, we're getting them out, he says very simply, we're hiring teachers to teach them English. Can you believe it? We are hiring interpreters, so when they go to school and take the place of our children in school, we have an interpreter. Each one will have a private interpreter. What the hell is wrong with our country? No, no. We're getting them out of our country. They came in illegally. They're destroying our country. We're getting them out. They're going to be brought back to the country from which they came. I will protect our country. I will protect our country. Think of it. She will surrender our country. That's what they're doing. They still refuse to acknowledge that these people have to be taken out, and you start with the stone cold killers, the murderers, the drug dealers. You get them out, and you tell them if they ever come back, big trouble. But let me tell you what you really do. Some of them are so bad you can't take the chance of sending them out because they'll come back. You lock them up, and they're going to be there for a long time. And when they know that, you'll see a whole big difference. As you know, here on Long Island, the open borders policies of Kamala Harris, and it were really her policies, and the communist left, I call it the communist left, have been importing MS-13 gang members by the thousands. I don't know what it is about Long Island, but you know, I took thousands and thousands of gang members out. Do you remember the story? Remember, I came into the presidency, and MS-13 was on my mind because I saw that in Long Island, two beautiful young girls were walking to school. They were 16 years old, and an MS-13 gang of deviants grabbed the girls and sliced them up into pieces, not with guns. They didn't want guns. They killed the two girls. They sliced them into little pieces, and I never forgot that. And then I found out that things like that are happening all over, wherever they are. MS-13, the worst gang anywhere. The only thing good about that is they make our gangs look like very nice people, I want to tell you. These are the worst people. They're animals. And Nancy Pelosi said, you shouldn't call people animals. That's not appropriate. They're animals. That's the philosophy. And I said, I got to the White House, and I said, they have a lot in Ohio, a lot in every state. And I said, I want MS-13 out of here. They come from various places, a little bit south of Mexico. They come from Mexico, too. And I said, what I want you to do is I want to bring them out. And a general said, sir, I'm sorry, sir. The countries will not, under any circumstances, allow us to bring them back in. They don't want them anymore, sir. I said, how long has this been going on? Many years during the Barack Hussein Obama. Has anyone ever heard of him? Many years, sir, under the Barack Hussein Obama administration. It's been going on for years, so they won't take them. You know what they did? They would take Honduras, okay? Think of it. They would take planes, and they would put them on the runways. They would put the planes, El Salvador, or different countries, some of the roughest gangs. They put big commercial aircraft. So when a plane is going to fly in with 200 or 300 MS-13 killers, you couldn't land the plane. They said, sir, we can't get them back. All of the bus routes are blocked. We can't get the buses in. And when they know a plane is coming, they put planes on the runway. Sir, we won't be able to do it. I said, I think you will. How much money do we pay them for economic development of the dictator's house? How much money do we pay them, General? I'll get back to you, sir. He comes back the next day. Sir, we pay them $750 million a year. It's a lot. Let me tell you, it's peanuts compared to some of the money that we pay, but it's a lot of money. I said, inform these countries that under no circumstances are they getting any money anymore. They're not getting any money. They are delinquent. They're not allowing us to bring back people that they forced into our country through caravans. So they informed them, and the next day I get to the Oval Office nice and early, and I get calls from 3 particular countries separately. Sir, there seems to be a problem or a misunderstanding. I said, yeah, there is a misunderstanding. You're not taking your MS-13 people that you sent into our country. You're not taking them back. And I'm going to not give any money to your country forever. You're never getting 10 cents. And in all cases, they said something to the effect, Sir, it is so bad that I didn't know about this. I wish I would have known about it. We would love to take MS-13 back into our country. We love them very much. We will take them back, sir. And that day, that afternoon, we started bringing them out of our country by the thousands and thousands and thousands. And the worst part of the story is, now, I still didn't pay them. I figured. But now they're getting $4 billion a year under Biden. Biden said, do it. Maybe she knew about it. I don't want to blame her if she didn't, but $4 billion. You know why? Because he wants them to create a beautiful environment so that they say that that's not going to happen. Okay, the money's going to be stolen all over the place. So instead of $750, it's now at $4 billion. An estimated 75% of arrests in Midtown Manhattan and over 60% of arrests in Queens are now illegal aliens. Congratulations. Congratulations. And you know this. In Queens a few months ago, an illegal alien released by Kamala Harris, she was in charge of the border, approached two 13-year-old children with a machete in broad daylight, forced them into the woods, tied them together by the wrists and raped them, injured them terribly, very badly. You know about it. In the Bronx, another illegal alien that Kamala Harris set loose into our country approached a 36-year-old woman while pretending to ask for directions. Ma'am, he said, I'd like directions to someplace. Before he wrapped his arms around her throat, pinned her down on a park bench, and raped her all night and beat the hell out of her. And you know what she said? She said, he didn't rape me, he tried to kill me. That was her expression when the police came. And on Coney Island, a place I know well, just weeks ago, two migrants, Kamala let in, raped a 46-year-old woman with a knife to her throat. She was badly, badly beaten, probably going to live. For every New Yorker being terrorized by this wave of migrant crime, and I've been talking about migrant crime for 5 years, I said, if you let them in, it's going to be hell. They are vicious, violent criminals that are being let into our country. They're people that their countries who are very smart, they don't want them. That's why all over the world, a lot of people coming from jails out of the Congo in Africa. Where do you come from? The Congo. Where in the Congo? We come from jail. What did you do? We will not tell you. They're coming from the Congo. They're coming from Africa. They're coming from the Middle East. They're coming from all over the world. Asia. A lot of it coming from Asia. And what's happening to our country is we're just destroying the fabric of life in our country, and we're not going to take it any longer. And you got to get rid of these people. Give me a shot. You will have a safe New York within 3 months. 3 months. For every New Yorker being terrorized by this wave of migrant crime, November 5th will be your liberation day. It's going to be liberation because you are living like hell. You're living a life like hell. I will launch a special task force of elite federal law enforcement people, many of whom I already know, that are tough, and charge them with crushing the MS-13 remnants. You know, the problem is I got them out, and now they come back in. They just walk back in like there's nothing to it. But eliminating MS-13 in every foreign gang and organized criminal network opening up on American soil. They're coming in by the millions, not by the hundreds. They're coming in by the millions. Think of it, probably 21 million people. That's probably a low number. We can do all of this and more, but patriotic New Yorkers must get your asses out to vote. Gotta get up, gotta get up. Harry, get up, Harry. Harry, get your fat ass out of the couch. You're gonna vote for Trump today, Harry. Get up, Harry. Come on, let's go. Let's go, Harry. We got to vote. Got to vote. And I believe we have the vote. You know, it's an interesting thing. Evangelical Christians, they tend not to vote very much. If they did, you'd never lose. Gun owners, I have the total endorsement of the NRA, have had it from the beginning. Gun owners don't vote, meaning they don't vote in a proportion that they should. Very small numbers vote. It's probably rebellion, who knows what it is. The gun owners have to get out and vote. Evangelicals, Christians have to get out and vote. People have to get out. There are some groups that don't vote like they should, and we're going to win. We're pleased to be joined tonight by members of Congress that are really terrific, that are warriors, really warriors. And one of them in particular, I love what she did to that woman at Harvard. Oh, that was not pretty. Elise Stefanik. Where is Elise? Where is she? Where is she? She is so great. Where the hell is she? Thank you, Elise. Boy, she was great. Mark Molinaro. Great. Nick LaLota. Nick. Thank you, Nick. Great job. He's doing a good job. Here's another one doing a good job. I gave him a big endorsement, Anthony D'Esposito. He's doing a great job. Thank you, Anthony. Salt. Salt, Anthony. Remember, fellas, salt. Brandon Williams, doing great. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you very much. Nick Langworthy, terrific guy. Claudia Tenney. Where's Claudia? Where's Claudia? She's been amazing. Congressional candidates, Mike LePetri. Where's Mike? Thank you, Mike. Good. I heard you leading big. And Allison Esposito. She's a tough one. Allison, thank you. Thank you very much. It's tough, you know, when you have this many people. I'm looking around. Where's one person? Thank you very much, Allison. Beautiful. Senate candidate, Mike Sapriacone. Mike Sapriacone. Come on, Mike. Where's Mike? You got to win, Mike. We got to win that one, Mike. You can do that. You can do that. A former senator and a friend of mine for a long time, and we had disputes every once in a while, but generally I would say it was a 10 relationship, and he was a tough cookie, Senator Al D'Amato. Right? Good man. A good man. A great lawyer and congressman, and he helped me a lot during impeachment hoax #1 and impeachment hoax #2. They were hoaxes. Congressman Lee Zeldin. He's great. And he's a big part of our campaign, and I want to bring him to Washington with us. He's a great lawyer. Get ready. Ambassador to Israel, David Friedman, who's fantastic. A mayor who was a fantastic mayor, very shy kind of a guy. He took crime. It was terrible. It was at a level that was as bad as today. And he made New York the safest big city in the world. Rudy Giuliani. Boy, Rudy, isn't that great? And his son, who happens to be a great golfer. A lot of people say, oh, how's Andrew? Not that good. Let me tell you, he's seriously good. Andrew Giuliani. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. Did a good job. And a very beautiful little boy who went through hell. But I brought him some presents. That's why I was late for you today. I brought him presents. I said, Liam, do you think the crowd of 20,000 plus a lot of people outside, you know, we put up big televisions on the back of the building, but that's not like being here. It's wonderful. Hello out there. I hope you're enjoying it. Big, big, beautiful screens. We have big screens. Not quite like being in the third row, first row. But Liam LaCastro is here, and he is a great young man. He's gone through a lot, but he's going to be better soon, right, Liam? And I got him the most beautiful present. He's a great boy, great parents, beautiful sister. Also with us are members of New York City Firefighters Union, Local 94, the largest in the city. Thank you, fellas. Incredible people. And in their honor, and I think this is a big deal, because in your honor, I am announcing tonight that as president, I will officially make the Ground Zero site at the World Trade Center a national monument, protected and maintained by the United States government, so that hallowed ground and the memory of those who perished there will be preserved for all time, preserved forever. And you deserve it. A lot of great people. I met them last week. Thank you. Thank you. Well, and I met him last week with the ceremony, and it was a beautiful ceremony, and met a lot of fantastic people. The New Yorkers who created the 9/11 National Memorial Museum really did an amazing job, didn't they? And many of them are here today, and I want to thank them. And I want to ensure that their outstanding work is sustained forever, and that's what we've done by doing this. So we are just 48 days away from the most important election in American history. The most important. The most. Stand up. Now you can stand up. They didn't put your name down. Turn around. Who is he? Name him. He took care of business, right? It's my man. Good. Boy, I'm glad I didn't forget you. Good guy. Good friend of mine for a long time. Whenever I had problems, I'd look at him and they'd say, let's leave Trump alone. Thank you, man. Thank you. We appreciate it. Great, great gentleman. Kamala Harris is for wide open borders with terrorists and criminals pouring into our country, more inflation, even higher than the last 4 years, which was a record. She wants to pack the Supreme Court. Think of that one. And today, I heard it all. I thought they wanted maybe 11, maybe they wanted 13. That's an unlucky number, so maybe it would be 15 instead of 9. But instead of 9, Kamala wants to bring up potentially as many as 25 justices so that they can rig the system like they rig everything else, including elections. And maybe one of the worst things of all, she is a true believer. And again, I said this before, if you want to defund the police, if you've been there even for a day, in your mind you want to defund the police even for one day, you are not qualified to be the President of the United States. Because anybody who wants to defund the police, we can't have it. We can't have it. It'll go down. It'll go down. We're not going to let our country fail. It's too great. And you know what? If we don't win this election, it's very possible we'll never have another chance. We have to do it. You have to get out. You have to vote. But Kamala vowed to abolish ICE. She supports free health care for illegal aliens. How about that one? You don't get free health care. These are all things that she was for years. Now, for the last little while, she's saying, no, I don't really think that was right anymore. 15 different things. She wants mass amnesty and citizenship for all illegals, which means totally bankrupting Social Security and Medicare. She wants to put illegal aliens into your Social Security and your Medicare system, which guarantees their bankruptcy. She says we must not utter the words illegal alien again or radical Islamic terrorist again. And think of this, during her 3.5 years, to me this is the worst thing I talk about tonight, it's unbelievable. During her period of 3.5 years, she was in charge of the border. She lost more than 325,000 migrant children. many of whom have been trafficked, raped, and many of whom are dead. Many of whom are dead. Think of what that is. That's like Yankee Stadium filled up many, many times. Think of it. Think of it. As California Attorney General, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person. I'd never heard of this. Rape of a very unconscious person as totally nonviolent crimes. She vowed repeatedly to ban fracking. She imposed a natural gas export ban that is crushing the state of Pennsylvania. I'm way up in Pennsylvania, by the way. This helps. Because she's not going to let, you know, the day after the election, all of these things come back. I hope you know that. She praised the idea of a tax rate of between 70 and 80%, and her only idea for solving inflation is to impose communist-inspired price controls, which have never worked. She pledged to abolish. Does anybody here have private health care? You worked hard. She wants to abolish anybody that's worked hard and made some money. Private health care, no more private health care, and force everyone into a socialist government-run health care with high taxes and deadly wait times. And she even endorsed free sex change operations for illegal aliens in detention, all at taxpayer expense. Now think of that one. They come into the country illegally and they say, I want to change my sex. Oh, that's okay. She's totally in favor of it. I'm sure she'll deny it now, but that's what she is. In 2021, Joe Biden tasked Kamala Harris with bringing broadband to rural America. Rural America was dying for it, and gave her $42 billion to do the job. 3 years later, right now, not a single home has been connected to broadband. Everyone's saying, what happened to the money? $42 billion, not one home. And in the Midwest, you read this, in the Midwest, they built 8 charging stations. That's like a gas pump with electricity, right? 8. They spent $9 billion to build 8 charging stations. Other than that, it really works well. I will end the electric mandate on cars immediately. And I have to say this, look, Elon Musk is great. He's a great guy, and he makes a great car. And as strong as I am on this, because I think they're incredible, but it's limited. Some people want them, and some people love them. I think they're incredible, and he makes a great product, maybe the best product I hear. And he understands this. Some people have to go far distances. Some people don't want the additional cost. Some people don't want their car built in China. Electric cars will be built in China. I'm going to bring back the auto industry. We're going to have gasoline-powered cars. We're going to have hybrids. We're going to have electric cars. We're going to have everything. The new one is hydrogen. I heard about that the other day. Hydrogen. There's one little problem. If it blows up, you're dead. It's great until one day there's a little bit of a problem, Anthony, and it blows up. And when that happens, it's not a pretty picture. So I think I'll take a pass on that one if you don't mind for a while. And just today, 3 agencies of the Kamala Harris and Joe Biden administration, the FBI, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence and Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, they just released a report confirming that Iran actors hacked into the Trump campaign's email accounts and in turn sought to give the hacked materials to the Biden-Harris campaign. They gave them all of the materials because Biden is working with Iran, and Iran doesn't exactly like me because they were ready to make a deal, except we had an election that was rigged and stolen. And look at what's happening to our world now. But no, Iran hacked into my campaign. I don't know what the hell they found. I'd like to find out. Couldn't have been too exciting. But they gave it to the Biden campaign. I can't believe it. Oh, yes, I can. But this is really foreign election interference. This is real election interference, not the phony crap that they've been trying to pin on me with Russia, Russia, Russia for years. Whatever happened to Russia, Russia, Russia? Remember the 51 intelligence agents? They said, no, no, the laptop from hell, it's Russia. No, it was Hunter. It was Hunter. Remember that? We had to go 2.5 years, and then they finally said, all right, the Mueller, remember Mueller? He said, in millions of phone calls, Trump didn't make one to Russia. They went through every phone call I made. Can you imagine? In millions of calls, not one call to me. And a lot of people apologize for that, but not enough people apologize. They wasted time and money. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars going after me, and they got nothing. They got nothing. But we cannot allow this insanity to continue anymore. That's why less than 2 months from now, we are going to tell Kamala that we've had enough. Kamala, you've been a terrible vice president. You will be an even worse president. We're not going to take it anymore, Kamala. Kamala, you're fired. Get out. You're fired. We're not going to take it anymore, Kamala. That was a little line from The Apprentice, which I'm sure you haven't seen. What a great show. Was The Apprentice good or what? From the moment we take back the White House from Kamala Harris, I believe we are going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. Starting on day 1, I will seal the border and stop the migrant invasion, an invasion like no country has ever seen before. We will stop it immediately. We will carry out the largest deportation operation of criminals in American history. We're getting them out of our country. We will make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. We have more than anybody else. And we have more. Think of it, we have more than Saudi Arabia. We have more than anybody else, especially when you add Anwar in Alaska, which we will reinstitute immediately. We're going to use it along with growth. We are going to grow to start paying down our debt. We have $35 trillion in national debt. We were all set to do it. And then we got hit by COVID. We had to focus on that. And then we gave back. You know, I got great marks on the military. We took out ISIS, wiped out ISIS 100%. We did it in 4 weeks. It was supposed to take 4 years, 5 years. And I got great marks in the economy. Never got great marks in COVID because they didn't want to give them to me. But the fact is, we did an unbelievable job. Nobody knew what the hell it was. It came from China. It came from the Wuhan lab. I said all these things. And we did an unbelievable job, and we handed over a country whose stock market was higher than it was just prior to COVID coming in, and amazing. But we did have to focus on that. Think of what China did to us. The world has $60 trillion and millions of people dead over that disaster. Think of that. The whole world. Even China suffered very much. They suffered at the end more than almost anybody. I will turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower more than it has ever been before. We're going to bring back the car industry. We're going to bring back the car industry. Other countries that make us pay a tax to do business with them will be charged the same tax when they send their product into the United States. We have countries, not only China, many countries, many of them are allies. Some of the worst trading countries are allies. Don't let that word surprise you. They're allies. They're friends of ours, and they take advantage of us horribly on the military with NATO and on trade. It will be called the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act, and if China or any other country charges us a 200 or 100 or 300% tax, then we will charge them a like 100, 200, 300% tax in return. You charge us, we charge you. And my message is very simple. Make your product right here in Uniondale. Make your product in America. Make your product in America, and only in America. And if you do that, Bruce, you won't have to pay a tax. And they'll be coming in here like you wouldn't believe, right? The worst that happens, we'll take in a lot of money, but we don't even want that. We want them to make their product. We're going to bring back the auto industry. Right now, China's building some of the largest auto plants in the world, and they're building them in Mexico. And they think they're going to build these massive plants, literally the biggest in the world. They're going to make millions of cars and sell them without tax across our border. We will put a tariff on all of those cars to a point where they won't be able to sell them, because we want them to build their plants in the United States and hire many of the people in this audience, and that's what's going to happen. And we also have something that's basic, but wow, people said, you're really smart. Where the hell did you think of this one? No tax on tips. So if you're a waitress, a caddy, a driver, but maybe better, no tax on overtime. And we'll get it done. We'll get it done. Unlike him with student loan debt that went nowhere, just to talk. We get it. I get it all done. Remember what they say, promises made, promises kept. That's me. And ready? Here's for the seniors. Do we have any seniors in the audience? Raise your hand. You ready? No tax on Social Security benefits. No tax on Social Security benefits. And you know why you deserve it? Because you lived like hell with the highest inflation probably in the history of our country, and you couldn't make ends meet. Now you're not going to have to pay tax on your Social Security benefit. And I will always protect Social Security and Medicare, and they won't. They're going to destroy it. They're putting the migrants all over the place, including there. And while working Americans catch up, we're going to put a temporary cap on credit card interest rates. We're going to cap it at around 10%. We can't let them make 25 and 30%. We will terminate the Green New Scam and spend trillions of dollars. We're going to take the Green New Scam, one of the greatest scams in the history of our country. Remember when they used to say global warming? They don't say that anymore. They say climate change because the planet's actually getting cooler. Climate change, Chuck. Climate change is different. Just Chuck Zito. Oh, I feel safe with him in the front row. Are you afraid of climate change, Chuck? Because now it's no longer global warming because that wasn't working so well, because it was getting cooler. Now it's climate change because that covers if it's warmer, it's cooler. We're going to take all of that money, we're going to take it, and we're going to rebuild. We're going to take this money from the Green New Scam. It's a Green New Scam, one of the greatest scams in history. And we're going to spend it on roads and bridges and real infrastructure. And we're going to pay down debt, not fake infrastructure that's caused massive inflation and has no benefit whatsoever for our country. And I will settle the war in Ukraine. I got along very well with Putin and Zelensky. And I will end the chaos in the Middle East. A vote for Kamala Harris is a vote to obliterate Israel. That's what's going to happen, Israel. Israel will not exist in 2 years. And by the way, we are closer to World War III right now than at any time during anybody's life in this beautiful room. I will stand with Israel and we will return a thing called peace through strength. And we're going to get it settled. We're going to get it done. We're going to get it done. We're not going to have war in the Middle East. We're not going to have war with Russia and Ukraine. You know, when I was there, we didn't have any war other than ISIS. I finished them off. We knocked out al-Baghdadi, the founder of ISIS. Think of that. We knocked them off. It was supposed to take 4 to 5 years. I did it in 4 weeks. General Raisin Kane, what's your name? Kane, sir, what's your first? I did it in 4 weeks. General Raisin Kane, what's your name? Kane, sir, what's your first name? Well, they call me Raisin. I said, your name is Raisin Kane. That's the general I was looking. He did it in 4 weeks. The Russian attack on Ukraine and the October 7th attack on Israel would never have happened if I was president. Would never have happened. Think of what the world would be, and think of what our nation would be with no Russia-Ukraine war, no October 7th disaster in Israel, and the Middle East. It's inflamed right now. It's inflamed like nobody's seen it for 50 years. No inflation and energy dominance. That's what it would have, energy dominance. We'd have no inflation. We wouldn't have either the Middle East or the Russia, Ukraine. What a different world it would be, wouldn't it be? We can't let them cheat on elections anymore. We can't let it happen. We will rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. Right now, we have a capital that when you go down there, you have a damn good chance of being hurt, mugged, something. And we will keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. We're losing that, but I'll keep it. I'll keep it. China wants to take it over, and if that happened to us, that would be like losing a war. That would be the biggest thing. That would make us a third world country. We will keep our dollar as the reserve currency. Remember, I said it, and it will be easy. It'll be easy. But this is how we will end the era of inflation, mayhem, misery under Kamala and Crooked Joe, and unleash safety, prosperity, and peace for Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. That's what we're going to do. Together, we will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, low inflation, so that everyone can afford groceries, a car, and a home. Very simple. Right? We will stop the invasion, end migrant crime, support our police, strengthen our military. I want to wish a happy 77th birthday to the United States Air Force. And if you remember, I created Space Force, which was the last since Air Force, which will soon be 5 years old. Space Force has turned out to be very important. We will build a missile defense shield around our country, keep critical race theory and transgender insanity out of our schools, and we will keep men out of women's sports. We will defend the Second Amendment, restore free speech, and we will secure our elections, and we will secure our borders. Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and the crooked Democrats. So we must stop her country-destroying liberal agenda once and for all. So get everyone you know and vote. We want a landslide that is very simply too big to rig. Too big to rig. Right, Bruce? Too big to rig. Joe, too big to rig. Too big to rig, Joe. I think we can do that, too. On November 5th, we will save our economy. We will rescue our middle class. We will reclaim our sovereignty and restore our borders. We will put America first, and we will take back our country, because together we will make America powerful again, make America wealthy again, make America healthy again, make America strong again, make America proud again, Make America safe again. Make America free again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. We love New York.